This is the first time I've talked about this on my channel, but when I was 17 years old, I almost lost my life because of my indoctrination that I shouldn't take a life-saving blood transfusion.
I'm changing my life and I won't look back ever again.
Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. It helps the video get out to more people, and together we can help a lot of people. So I mentioned in one of my other videos that I had got pregnant and married at 17. I had a very healthy pregnancy. The labor and delivery was pretty intense. I had chosen not to have an epidural. At the very end, my baby's heartbeat had dropped drastically, and so the doctor was in a rush to get her out, and as a result, I was given an episiotomy, and then they used the suction cups to pull her out. It was a huge relief to have that part over with and to have a healthy baby girl. She was 7 pounds, 10 ounces. But this is where things took a turn for the worse. I began hemorrhaging because my uterus would not contract to shut off the blood vessels. The staff was trying every drug and modality they had available. Finally, they brought in a specialist to examine me. He had been told I was a Jehovah's Witness and that I wouldn't accept a blood transfusion. As he examined me with my legs spread open, he asked me if this was my belief or just my family's, and I told him it was my belief. Now, mind you, I wasn't even baptized at this point, but it speaks to the level of indoctrination that I had to uphold the cult's interpretation of Scripture. I basically would have been considered a martyr had I died. The specialist then came to the side of my bed and said that they had one more medication that they were going to try on me, but they had to get it from another hospital, and that they didn't think it would work because nothing else they had tried had worked. He proceeded to tell me that their only alternative would be to give me a hysterectomy, but because my blood count was so low and I wouldn't accept blood, that they didn't think I would wake up from the surgery. And then he proceeded to ask me if I was comfortable with that decision. I told him, well, don't get me wrong, I don't want to die, doctor, but I am not going to accept blood. I remember at that point being very weak, and I didn't even care if I just closed my eyes and went to sleep for good. They had me all hooked up to everything, and including oxygen, trying to keep me awake. I know that the liaison committee had been called, but I don't know what ever became of that. My mom asked them how long they were going to give me until they did something drastic, and they said about 30 minutes. Well, about 10 or 15 minutes later, a new nurse came on duty, and she came into my room and kneaded my stomach, which, is what they do after you have a baby to contract that uterus. She did it for a pretty short amount of time compared to the other nurses, and I remember her starting to walk out, and I said, nurse, the only time my uterus contracts is when the other nurses, need it. I basically let her know I was concerned that she hadn't done it long enough. And she looked at me and said, it needs to work on its own, but I'll be back to check on you and do it again. Well, I thought, shit, I'm toast. I'm not going to live through this. But in the end, that's what got it working and ultimately saved my life. My uterus slowly started working on its own, and I lived to tell about it. I was told later that I should probably never have children again, or if I did, I should wait as long as possible, at least several years. Well, I did go on to have another daughter. I did wait almost 4 years. Again, I had another natural childbirth experience, except this time with midwives, but no complications the second time. Looking back now, I'm obviously so glad that I survived that, but pretty upset that I was so indoctrinated that I was willing to die and leave my baby motherless. When I was in the process of waking up, I learned that the scriptures Jehovah's Witnesses use to say we shouldn't take a blood transfusion are all referring to not ingesting animal blood, not a medical, life-saving blood transfusion. No, those scriptures talk about animal blood. Notice how an article on jw.org reasons why one should abstain from blood.
Why does God command us to abstain from blood? There are sound medical reasons to avoid blood transfusions. More important, though, God commands that we abstain from blood because what it represents is sacred to Him.
Here is where their interpretation is just absurd. First off, like I said, the scriptures they use are referring to not drinking or ingesting animal blood. Second, the reasoning I just played for you said to abstain from blood because blood is sacred to God. But they totally ignore Jesus' lesson about the Sabbath and sacred things. Exodus 20:11 said that God blessed the Sabbath and made it sacred. However, later, Jesus teaches us a very important lesson. At Luke 14:5, it says, "Then he said to them, 'Who of you, if his son or bull falls into a well, will not immediately pull him out on the Sabbath day?'" The lesson here is that you shouldn't view the sacredness of something like the Sabbath or blood as being more important than saving the life of a human being or even an animal. Jesus even cured people on the sacred Sabbath day. Also, when the Bible was written, there was no medical, life-saving blood transfusions that they could make a rule on. But Jesus' lesson clearly teaches discernment, something the Watchtower doesn't seem to grasp. Well, that's my personal story, folks, and lesson for the day. Don't let 9 men in upstate New York take away your critical thinking skills and your discernment. I hope you all have a great day, and I'll see you on the next video.
I'm changing my life and I won't look back ever again.